name's Sarah Lewis, and I'm in my second year as part-time field staff with Athletes in Action at University of North Carolina. I'm so fired up that it's GOvember because I have a huge love and passion for sending and for missions, but it has not always been that way. God has worked in my heart in incredible ways over the last few years, and it's come with a lot of resistance. The first time I really heard about missions and sending was after my sophomore year in college. I attended a missions conference and was blown away at the fact that there's so many people in this world that don't know Christ. They haven't heard the gospel. And I was even more intrigued that the history of American missions started with college students. But when that speaker went up and asked which of you would go, I immediately pointed to the girl next to me and said, "No way, not me. This seat is way too comfortable. She can go." So I attended 3 more missions conferences after that, and each time God slowly began to work at my heart and to soften the hardness I had towards going. The first step of faith where God really pulled me out of my comfort zone was coming on staff with Athletes in Action. I had no previous involvement or really even concept of AIA, but I loved Jesus and had a huge heart for athletes and thought this is the place for me. The first trip that I went with AIA was to Puerto Rico for spring break. And man, was it incredible, just being out there, sharing the gospel with people that from another country than me, and getting to do it with students alongside of us was amazing. Getting to do it with my first disciple at UNC was even better. But the moment I remember the most was sitting in a basketball gym at Inter San German with a Puerto Rican student who was clearly a believer. I had shared the gospel with him and just remembered this vision that it portrays in Revelation chapter 7. It says, "After this I looked, and there before me was a great multitude that no one could count, from every nation, tribe, people, and language, standing before the throne and in front of the Lamb." I didn't know much about this student. I knew that we came from different countries, we spoke different languages, and most likely had different backgrounds and upbringings. But I did know that one day we would be in heaven, standing together, worshiping the same one true God. And that just gave me chills. So a lot of people have poured into me to get me where I am with my heart for the world. And being on staff, I get to do the same with students here, and I just love it. One of my favorite tools to use is the Operations World book that has every country in the world with prayer requests. And when I sit down and see a girl look through that book and lead us through prayer for a country, I see her eyes light up as she starts to catch the vision too. I love going around to tracks or around fields and praying with students for their teams, for the world, and just join together in praying. But I want you guys to hear from a student here. This is Nicole. She's going to tell you how God's been working in her heart also.
Hey, so my heart for the world really began to grow from discipleship with Sarah. It started in little ways where she would say, "Hey, let's pray for Puerto Rico." And before that, I had never really thought about praying for another country. But then going on the trip to Puerto Rico, I got to see that in action. I got to see people share the gospel. I got to share the gospel. And it's really cool how God works through that. There's a quote, and it says, "The good news is only good news if it gets there in time."
We've been really focusing on sending here at Carolina. We've created a sending team that specifically focuses on how we can better just educate our students of the need for the gospel to be shared, how we can show them that God's heart is for the nations. He wants to see all people come to know Him. And what are the opportunities that AIA has for them to take that step of faith to share with others? So we've created a little hashtag, if you will. It's hashtag 100% sent airplane. So something that we like to do just as we're going out to get people fired up is
Hashtag
sent.
Woo!
GOvember!